Hi everyone, my name is Kartik and my channel is about mental models. In my 14th Cognitive Bias mini-series video, I will be talking about the halo effect. The halo effect is a bias which occurs when our positive impressions in one area lead us to have positive feelings in another unrelated area. So this is area 1 and this is unrelated area, and these feelings can be about people, about brands, and even products. This ultimately skews our decision making because we form and base any judgments without appropriate reasons or without any evidence. So let's look at a few examples. Example 1. Imagine you meet someone who is physically attractive, and based on their looks alone, you come to the view, you assume that they are intelligent, and as a result of this you overlook any flaws or negative traits that the person may possess and view them in an overly positive light. That is an example of the halo effect. Another example is where a company uses a celebrity to market their brand. So you've got the TV and you've got, let's say, a can of something, and you have a celebrity to market the product. So this is the product or brand, and this is the celebrity, and the company is looking to borrow the goodwill and positive image of the celebrity that they have established with their fans already, in the hope that the celebrity's association with the brand will nudge their fans to select that specific product, even though the celebrity has no connection with how good the product actually is. Now, those are two examples of the halo effect, but at this point in time it's worth me mentioning, let's get a different colour, another example which is of the concept called the horn effect. Now, just as the halo effect is about having positive feelings in various areas, the horn effect is about having negative feelings in various areas, and it is essentially the reverse of the halo effect, but it works in the same way. So I've got this example, so let me explain. There is a domestic cleaning company, so let's say got a mop. So this is your domestic cleaning company. And this company has a website. On their website, they have a few typos, and this leads a potential customer to question if the company can be trusted to do a proper cleaning job when they have errors on their website. As a result, they decide to use a different company that doesn't have any typos on their website to play it safe. Now, thinking about it objectively, do website errors or typos have anything to do with being able to do a thorough cleaning job? Probably not. The two things are quite unrelated. But even though this is the case, this has skewed the potential customer's judgment and they have gone elsewhere. So this is the horn effect. There is also a concept called the reverse halo effect, which is where a positive trait, so a positive impression, leads to a negative outcome, such as where someone meets a physically attractive person, sort of similar to this scenario, but they form an overly negative view of that person due to jealousy. So, why does this bias happen? Our brain uses the halo effect as a shortcut to understand the world around us. There are three things which can explain why the halo effect happens. Firstly, general impressions. There are general impressions of things and people, such as if I say Elon Musk, your mind starts to form a picture which is more based on a general or global viewpoint about Elon Musk. And this affects how we would perceive individual characteristics of that person. The second why is salient dimensions. So this is how the perception of one specific individual characteristic affects the evaluation of other characteristics. So if someone has a salient or prominent view towards dress sense, then if they meet someone who dresses very well, they will be more likely to think positively about that person in other unconnected areas, such as deciding that they have a superior athletic ability, when dress sense has got nothing to do with athletic ability. But the salient dimension for that person is dress sense, and they will be basing other characteristics on that. So this is another reason. And the third reason is inadequate discrimination. This is a person's failure to identify different behaviors of who they are evaluating, which either leads to the judgment about one behavior clouding the judgment towards any other behaviors, or that they see all behavioral traits as one entity rather than as a distinct set of traits from one another, which is why the halo effect happens. So putting this all together, we don't solely rely on impartial or unbiased information when we form impressions of others. Instead, we actively construct an image that fits in with what we already know, because human social perception is a constructive process. So that's the whys. How do we overcome this bias? Number one, awareness. Surprise, surprise. Similar to other biases, we should understand this bias and look out for the patterns that resemble the halo effect. And similarly, we must also look out for when the horn effect is taking place as well. So sort of becoming cognizant of that. Number two, subjective decisions. Refrain from making subjective decisions and proactively remind yourself that only after we gain more information about the person we can get a more accurate image of who they are. Number three, reduce comparisons. So when meeting someone, allow them to show us who they really are, rather than labeling them or comparing them mentally just because they bear some resemblance to something or someone else. So yeah, reducing comparisons. Number four, quite a simple one, but I thought I'd put this fourth for a reason. So the fourth one is slow down. As I said before, the brain uses this bias as a shortcut. So try and slow down the mental reasoning process. And the reason I've got this fourth in the list is because this also helps you to do number two and number three by slowing the thought process down and taking a bit more time to think through what it is you're thinking about or evaluating or assessing. Then it gives you a greater chance of not falling into the trap of the halo effect. And finally, number five, I'm going to call this systematic approach. Follow a systematic approach. For example, if you have a positive impression of a certain brand, you will be more likely to buy products from that brand, even though your impression of that brand has no relation to the actual product quality. So you should always consider this bias when making purchasing decisions when you're purchasing products, because the best quality product or the best brand for you may not be the one that's the most popular or the one that's the most heavily advertised. So have a plan or approach to consider alternatives. If you have a plan, then there is more chance of you making a better decision for you rather than just going along with what you think is right without reason or without any evidence. So these are some of the ways in which we can overcome this bias. This bias causes or leads to poor decisions, but more seriously, it can lead to prejudice. Therefore, we need to pay more attention to when this bias can happen and can influence us, so that we can be impartial, reasoned, and can reach better decisions and therefore better outcomes. And that's all for this video. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And if cognitive biases interest you, then here are some more videos flashing up on screen from the Cognitive Bias mini-series, which you can check out when you have time. And I will see you again in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.